Hello everyone and welcome to Hell Yeah Gaming, where the trailer for Half-Life Alyx dropped. I did a quick reaction when they announced that there was going to be a new Half-Life game several days ago, and now we get to watch the trailer, pick out the details, and I will tell you everything that I feel about this and everything I've researched so far, so let's jump on into it. Yeah! Alright, so we start with some deep breathing. The graphics automatically look far beyond any VR game that I can think of off the top of my head. Head grab! Head grab!
So what's the plan?
We can get to the weapon. What we're doing here could change things forever.
Change things forever. But it was already changed
Straight
forever.
shot to the vault. I'm gonna head inside, find a way out. Got it.
That get little interaction there. That, okay, so this part right here. Alright, so that's one thing I want to go ahead and point out here. This little joke, that's kind of humor. Not normally something found in Half-Life. I let it pass here. I thought it was actually legitimately funny. For the punchline. Yeah. Okay, let's rewind just a minute. Oh, too far. Okay. So here's a boom right there. So this right here looks like it's going to be a fantastic tool for everyone doing the VR here, because I think we all know, anyone who's ever played VR, anyone who's watched VR in depth, you can see that sometimes there's a lot of wonky interactions, and sometimes issues with trying to reach things and with how you're going to be able to move around. So you can see you've got something akin to the gravity gun as gloves set up here for Alyx. So you can attract objects specifically from a distance, and I think that's going to be a huge help for this being a VR game. Alright. Also, with it being VR, there's going to be a lot of issues here with movement, I think, but we can see right there. Okay, so just right there we saw some fairly fluid movement. Let's go ahead and try it one more time. Okay, and here we go. See, that actually, okay, so they didn't move too far of a distance right there, but it does feel like they had to, take more than a couple steps. And
then
oh,
they're gonna kill him.
yes.
I never told you. I couldn't. I'm so sorry, baby.
You will not save him.
Ooh, okay, we got Vortigaunt's there. Oh, yeah. Now, there's so much to unpack out of here that it's tremendous. Half-Life Alyx. And money shot right now. The G-Man is back. And that look in those eyes. Oh my lord. March 2020. Alright, so let's look at some of the more specifics here. My mouse has some issues. So, here we go. Let's see here. Now, like I said, right off the bat, graphics look astounding. Not just for a VR game, but just period. They look amazing. Especially considering this is a VR game, then that is even more of an accomplishment. Now, if we take a look here at, so we got some physics puzzles, some electronics, wiring, it looks like, some stuff we're interacting with. The specific ways that we are looking at this, I think, tells us a lot more about why. Okay. Yeah, so that looked like some interesting hand motions we had going on there. So I think that's also part of why this had to be a VR game and not a regular like PC or console controller. When they did an interview with Jeff Keighley also, they described this whole thing was made as a VR game from the ground up. They built it with that in mind, and that there's a lot of the way that the control schemes going on in this game that just wouldn't work otherwise. Even right here. So we got hands in these two tubes here, and a little bit later on, something similar right here, yeah. So we got some. Boom. So, just based on what we're seeing from this so far, I believe their statements and what they said about how this couldn't be made as anything other than a VR game, which is both a really impressive but also a big disappointment for me personally, just because VR is not something that I really can get into, unfortunately. There's a huge cost prohibit. Now, here's where we get into some of the story that they're revealing so far that makes me a little skeptical.
They've got Dad.
They've got Dad.
Find out what he knows.
Find out what he knows.
Gonna kill him.
Then they're gonna kill him. So apparently a part of this game is getting Eli Vance rescued from the Combine. With this taking place before Half-Life 2, we already know exactly how that goes. We know that Eli gets out. We know that Eli and Alyx continue to participate in the resistance until Gordon Freeman is released by the G-Man. We unfortunately know what happens to Eli in his final moments. This is one of the big issues that I take with this being a prequel. Is just that, with these situations, we already know how this is going to turn out. Now, in the interview with Jeff Keighley, they did say that they're hoping this to be the launch point to continue the Half-Life story, and if that is able to go through, this is not a side story, this is not a spin-off, this is the next chapter in Half-Life. And that is huge, because it tells me that even though I am skeptical based on what we've seen so far of the story, that they're going to reveal more that's going to be integral for the potential Half-Life 3. And honestly, the fact that I'm saying potential Half-Life 3 100% seriously at this point is shocking to me. Absolutely shocking. Well, this is my fault. I never told you. So, this right here.
It's my fault. I never told you. I couldn't. I'm so sorry, baby.
So that's Alyx, not Alyx, that's Alyx's dad, Eli, saying that to Alyx.
You will not.
And that, I think, really falls into the G-Man. We know from Half-Life 2 Episode 2 that the G-Man has some kind of deal with Eli about Alyx. We don't know what it is. We don't know what Alyx's deal with him is, or how she and him are involved together. Personally, I think that Eli made a deal with the G-Man to get him and his daughter out of Black Mesa before the nuke went off. But this is what I think these lines are referring to. Eli is letting Alyx know something about the G-Man and their situation. Now we have Vortigaunt's talking.
Save him. Alyx
We will not
Vance
save
alone
him.
Cannot prevent his fate.
Alyx Vance alone cannot prevent his fate. We already know what Eli's fate is. He's gonna die and get his brain sucked by the Combine, the advisors. That's just a sad fact that's happened. That's the cliffhanger we've been sitting on for, again, 12 years. But, yeah, anyway. Alyx Vance alone cannot prevent his fate. Alyx and Gordon were both there, and they could not prevent Eli's fate of getting killed and getting his brain sucked like a slushie. Therefore, the way that this is phrased by the Vortigaunt,
You will not save him.
you will not save him. That tells us right there. We couldn't. No one could. But then Alyx Vance alone cannot
Vance
prevent his
alone
fate.
Cannot prevent his fate.
That I really question, because we already know Alyx wasn't alone when it happened. So in this instance, is the he that we're talking about Eli? Is it Eli, her father? I don't know. I don't think so. I legitimately do not think that it's Eli based on this line. Alyx Vance alone cannot prevent his fate. With the Vortigaunts telling us this, that would imply that if Alyx acted alone, the person's gonna die. If Alyx has help from someone specific, they can stop it. But we already know Eli dies, and she wasn't alone. She had Gordon Mofo Freeman, the one free man. So I think that this is a tie-in to Half-Life 3, or rather this is a breadcrumb, a foreshadowing of Half-Life 3 and where things could go. Maybe this is referring to Gordon himself. Let's keep going just real quick. So that was... Oh, hold on.
Alyx Vance alone
Yeah.
cannot.
Okay, right here.
I'm so sorry, baby.
You will
Okay,
not save him.
I'm sorry for skipping
Alyx
around.
Vance alone.
I love that. Right there. That is beautiful. That you can long-range pickpocket Combine soldiers with this special glove that you have going on here. That's amazing. I love it. I can see so many gameplay elements going on with this ability.
Cannot prevent his fate.
Want to freeze on this shot for a moment? Just, this all looks very antlion-esque, like an antlion hive. What we have here, this looks like a barnacle, but the setup is a little odd. So this, we can tell from the elongated fingers here, the claws, that this is a head grab zombie. So we got blah down here, head grab zombie. But is that really a barnacle in this whole situation? What's really going on? Is this an entirely new type of alien? Not sure, but this is gooey, gross, and I love it.
Close your eyes, honey.
That shot, perfect. Love it. So we have probably a gameplay element specifically for the VR. Antlions have their limbs glowing in what I would assume to be weak spots. If we give it just a second, boom, right there, shoot a leg off. The title drop, moon in the background, and then of course we get right back to the G-Man, the most mysterious, enigmatic, and probably the most important part of the whole story. This man right here. Okay, so I've got some more to talk about. Okay, so here is the original tweet that Valve sent out in order to show us this trailer. So March 2020, built by Valve VR, a full-length entry in the Half-Life series. So if we read it down here some more, set between the events of Half-Life and Half-Life 2, pretty apparent from the trailer, Alyx Vance and her father Eli discover a secret that leads them into the heart of the Combine's occupation of City 17. As Alyx, give humanity its last chance for survival. This line is very important to me. Give humanity its last chance for survival. Its last chance for survival was Gordon Freeman. And Gordon Freeman was released from his stasis by the G-Man. So this right here, I would theorize, is Alyx and Eli find something in the heart of the Combine's occupation that forces the G-Man's hand into releasing Gordon Freeman. And then of course Half-Life 2 occurs and Gordon wreaks havoc on the Combine. So VR was built for the kind of gameplay that sits at the heart of Half-Life, and Half-Life Alyx was built from the ground up for VR. We'll be able to play it on any Steam VR compatible system. So we have a whole list of playstyles that we can go ahead and check out here. So if we scroll down here, these are all of the VR that they've built Half-Life Alyx to be compatible with. So we have the Valve Index, which is built hand in hand with Alyx. So this is what they made specifically for this game. And Valve, the thing about that is both great and frustrating about Valve is that they're innovators. Every single thing that they do has to completely innovate the market. The original Half-Life, of course, the graphics were beyond anything back in that time period, but also the AI was amazing. It was the first game that I can imagine, and that from what I've read, it was just the first one, period, where enemies didn't just mindlessly run straight at you. They had tactics. It was the Marine squads would hide behind pillars to take cover, peek out to take pot shots, throw grenades to try to trap you in. I mean, the AI wasn't very advanced, obviously, but it was like the first one to ever have it. Then Half-Life 2, of course, the physics engine that they invented for it revolutionized the gaming industry. And, of course, the graphics engine, again, was far away and beyond anything we've ever seen. So, when Valve is making this, I feel like they're sticking with what they do. They revolutionize. Portal, again, completely changed the way we think of physics in video games. Steam, they invented Steam and completely changed the way PC gaming operates. But in addition to making the Valve Index specifically for Half-Life Alyx, they also made sure the game was compatible with mixed reality, the Vive, Oculus, and the Oculus Quest. So they are going out of their way to not monopolize this game with their own technology and to make sure that it's accessible. Frankly, that's fantastic, and I love to hear it. However you play, we've got you covered. Room setup. So room scale, standing or sitting. So they have it set up where you can sit there and control yourself, which makes it, more accessible for people who don't have the space for a lot of VR gaming. Then movement, of course, we have teleport go from point A to point B. That's used in a lot of VR. Shift, smoothly zoom from A to B. And then use the analog stick to walk or run. So there's a lot of different options here on how to actually move around. That's why they're really going out of their way to make this as accessible as possible. Controller style, finger tracking, or trigger based. Again, they just want to make sure everybody can enjoy Half-Life Alyx. So that is that. If we head right on back here, Half-Life Alyx is available for pre-purchase right now. I wish I could. I wish I could so bad. I just cannot afford VR, and that pisses me off. Then they go ahead and link the interview with Jeff Keighley, which I highly recommend pulling out and watching that. It covers a lot of really important information, such as how numerous writers who had left Valve previously came back specifically just to work on this game, and how they've been secretly working on it for 3 years without a peep, without a single peep. It's amazing. That's been such a well-kept secret this whole time. I'm flabbergasted by this. And so there you have it. Half-Life Alyx. I cannot even really put into words. One, I'm still in shock. But two, I'm legitimately really excited for this. I want to play it. I want to play it so badly. As such a hardcore Half-Life fan, I have felt betrayed for so many years, and I had given up all hope. When they first announced that they were going to release Half-Life Alyx, I didn't know what to think, and I was mad. And I actually still am a little bit. But after seeing it, that has blown away almost all of my doubts, and I am so excited to see where this goes and what we can make of it. So those are my thoughts on the trailer and all of our current release information on Half-Life Alyx. thank you so much for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video. Hey, subscribe for more information if you want more news on Half-Life Alyx as it continues to come through. I'm covering this every single time something new comes out to the woodworks. I'm going to be throwing something out there in response. So thank you all for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And of course, I can't let you go without a good cheer. Hell yeah!